Okay.
There was a huge sign over our faces when he said now, just so we're all clear.
Welcome, everyone. Appreciate your patience. Those of you who were in the waiting room or were looking to get the meeting started. We typically take care of some of our housekeeping issues here. So, again, appreciate everyone that's here in person and everyone that's here via Facebook Live. Every meeting we see a larger and larger Facebook Live presence out there. Well, we try to make it as easy as possible. That being said, we truly, truly appreciate all of the faces, all of the people that are here today in person. We know it's not easy to drive out here from wherever you come from. I think we should start off with the Pledge of Allegiance, and let's please remain standing for a moment of silence. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This moment of silence, I want to especially remember our UFCW Local 1 family up in Buffalo for the tragic events that took place a few weeks ago at Tops Market. Okay, folks. Thanks. Please be seated. Okay. So, come on up, and I'll introduce you as you can have a seat here. I don't know if you want to stand or not, but just a couple of housekeeping items before I introduce our first speaker. The folks on Facebook Live. Those of you who've been here before know the routine. Please check in. Just put your name and your store store number in the comments. So it's not only for record-keeping attendance, but it's also for the raffle, so for you to be entered into the raffle for later. Okay? We also will have a question and answer period at the end of the meeting. So also please type in your questions into the comment area. We have staff that are monitoring the questions, and we have staff that are monitoring attendance, okay? So we will get to your questions at the end. Our first speaker of the night will be one of our membership servicing representatives. You may have seen her in your stores. If not, you definitely will in the near future. Gina Julie.
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Gina Gwelly, and I am so excited to see everybody here. We've waited 2.5 years to be able to see everyone come. So hopefully we'll get more members to come and join us in person. I understand that it's hard for members to come out, and that's why we have it on Facebook Live, but we need participants. We have to get more members involved. In order for us to be able to do this, we need to be able to join forces together. We can't do it without you guys, and we can't do it alone. So we need the members to come together, be with us, so we could be a stronger union. So I'm a membership servicing rep. I was at Stop and Shop for 21 years. I started with Edwards, and then we changed to Stop and Shop. I was a bookkeeper. I was a shop steward, so I love helping members. When I was asked to come on board, I could see the vision is just helping people, trying to help the members. So when I go into the stores, I try to talk to everybody. We're trying to make sure we have everybody's paperwork, make sure that your information is up to date. I understand that you guys are very busy in the store, but if you take a second when you see us, we talk to you just to update your information. So thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Gina. Appreciate that. It's what you call ending on a high note. But when I started, I was a membership servicing rep back in 1998, and it's a very important job that Gina, not only Gina, but Alicia Lastumbo, who's here, George Capagianopoulos is somewhere back there. Our union reps are typically, unfortunately, at times running from meeting to meeting to meeting to meeting. There's a fire over there, we got to go there. There's a fire here, they got to go there. And they don't sometimes they just don't have the time to, spend the time in the stores and just shake hands and talk to you guys and, deep dive into any issues that you may be having. And, that's really the level of service that we want for our membership. So the membership servicing reps are out here to help them out. They primarily work a late morning to mid-evening shift, and they work on the weekends as well, to see the folks who typically don't get to see their union rep on a regular basis. So our membership is out there 24/7. We know that, and we want our representative staff to be out there as much as possible also. We know that you guys don't work Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, all of you. We have quite a large percentage of our folks that work after hours and overnight and on the weekends, and we want to make sure that you are seen too, and you are represented to the best of our ability there. So, Gina, thank you for your message, very important message, and as I said, you will see all of our service reps in your store very soon, if you haven't already. Next up, I think we have some folks from Fusco, Brandenstein, and Rada here. You guys want to come on up? We've got James Warsaw, right? And I only see James coming up, but Jesse is also here. Don't be shy, Jesse. You can come up.
We'll drag up Jesse next time.
Okay.
We're going to cover for tonight. Joe, thank you so much. Thanks
Great,
for
great.
having
Come
us.
on. Good morning.
Yes. Good to see you. You as well. A lot of familiar faces in the room, so hello to those of you I've already had a chance to speak with. Many members have pending workplace injuries cases with us. I'm with Fusco, Brandenstein, and Rada. We represent injured workers. We do Social Security, disability, and some other things, but that's the main thing. So there's a lot of wrong information about workplace injuries, workers' compensation in general. Feel free to reach out to us, those in person, Jesse and I. That's Jesse Sigismonti. Right there in the back, we have some marketing materials. Happy to field any questions you may have individually as well. So, when I say there's a lot of wrong information, there's different types of cases out there. So you may have a friend or a coworker that's had a shoulder injury, and they'll tell you everything that you could think you'd need to know about having an injury like that, and ends up being totally different if you have a neck or back or a different body part, different type of an injury. So it can be important to get the right information, and one of the reasons we try to get out to the membership and speak to people beforehand is just so you know, one, that we're here and here to help, and also how important it is to document things right away. If there's an injury on the job, you have your internal requirements for reporting, the statutes that are relevant for time periods for filing. You have up to 30 days to let the employer know that there's an injury on the job, and then up to 2 years to file paperwork. So not that there's an immediate rush, but it's nice to keep that paper trail, even if you think it's something that may end up being walked off or feel better after a weekend off. You can run into a different set of problems the more the time lapses between when the injury takes place and when you first see a doctor or report anything on the job. And a lot of the injuries that we deal with can start off as a workers' compensation case. If it ends up being career-ending or something where someone's going to be out for an extended period of time, all under the same roof. We do Social Security disability work as well. So there's important milestones there, including things other than just the injuries, is the age of the person. As you get closer to where you've been paying into the system like everybody else, and you're going to be eligible for it, the federal government can be a little more lenient in terms of what you'd have to show to be eligible at 55 than what you'd have to show at 35. So there's different factors at play. We are here as a resource, no out-of-pocket expense to speak with us. You never get a bill from the firm for the representation in Social Security or workers' compensation. We get paid if and only if we get a result for the client, and it's all awarded by judges that preside over everything. So, again, one of the things I could do tonight is keep it relatively short for the speech. For those of you who have questions individually, Jesse and I would be more than happy to speak with any of you. So we're here. Appreciate you always having us. A lot of familiar faces that have heard my spiel on this before. Anyone new that would like to reach out to us at the office, happy to be opening up all the satellite offices. We're in main administrative headquarters, Woodbury, where you have full-time offices in Comac, Medford, and in each borough. We have the Brooklyn office is now open again 5 days a week. We have offices in Manhattan. We're in White Plains. We have Bronx office, and then the different offices throughout Long Island. So whatever's most convenient for you. A lot of the appointments we can do over the phone, and we'll be more than happy to speak with you. So thank you again for your time.
Thank you. Okay. Thanks, James. Really appreciate it. Thanks, Jesse. Next time we got you up here, okay? Folks watching on Facebook Live, look, if you've got an issue that you need some attention from our folks from Fusco, Brandon Cinerata here, just put your information in the chat box and we will get someone from Fusco's office to reach out to you as soon as possible, okay? Again, thanks for our guest speakers tonight. I'm going to try and be brief with my comments for my report. I mentioned earlier that in the minutes that there's a grievance that we filed with the Stop and Shop company. Basically, what happened is we found that they have been under scheduling and thus underpaying a few hundred of our part-timers that are out there. Minors, regular part-timers being scheduled under 16 hours, and career part-timers being scheduled fewer than 20 hours and fewer than 5 hours on Sunday. Look, I'm sure at some point you've seen some of our reps in the stores or in the manager's office or wherever they are able to check a payroll sheet, and you may wonder, hey, what are they doing? Like, they got their laptop out, they got this paperwork out there. We do audits out there to make sure that the companies are doing the right things. You know what? A good day is when we realize, you know what, this company's doing the right thing. I didn't find any issues or any mistakes. You know, we never want to service with our eyes closed and our ears closed and wait for issues to jump up at us, because we'll miss things. You know what? If we don't look for some things, sometimes we won't find things, okay? So that's why we do constant payroll audits out there on a monthly basis, and you'll see your reps out there doing payroll checks. And you know what? This is something that we discovered, that minors were being scheduled fewer than 3 3/4 hours in a shift. And contractually, that's what they should be scheduled. And it went from one store to another store to another store, and now it's seemingly a very large-scale problem. You know, someone being scheduled 15 hours less, 15 minutes less per shift may not seem like much, but when you multiply that for every shift that they've had every week for years, potentially, and then you multiply that by all of the minors that are out there, we don't know exactly how large the problem is, but we're digging. And we did have a meeting with Stop and Shop here a couple of weeks ago, basically to tell them, look, we're looking for you guys to fix this, not only going forward, but going backward as well. So we'll update you folks as we come to an understanding there of just where that problem is, and or how far that problem has gone, and that we have come to a resolution there. And if you know of any infractions out there, that contracts being violated one way or another, reach out to your rep. Okay, yeah, you know what? That's what we're here for. We are here to enforce your particular contract, make sure that it's being followed. A lot of times we see managers transferred in from another jurisdiction, sometimes another state, or they deal with another union and they're used to doing things a certain way, and it's not necessarily that case here, right? Sometimes managers don't realize that they're making a mistake, or scheduling someone incorrectly, or you know what, the holiday week is 16 hours plus a holiday, not 12 hours plus the 4 hours holiday for their 16 hours, for example. But it's out there, and it's out there quite a bit, and we're going to continue to find it, and we're going to continue to have companies pay folks what they've earned and what they deserve, okay? So we'll keep you posted there on that as well. I want to just update you on some of the negotiations and bargaining that we've been going through. Since our last meeting, we have so many things on our calendar that we literally go back to check what's happened since the last general membership meeting. So, and then we compile a list of, okay, we did this and we did that, and that was before, so we won't report on that. But since our last meeting, Matlin Key Food on Montague Street in Brooklyn, we've ratified that contract. That was a unanimous ratification, and I'll always say, when we'll fight and argue with negotiators across the table to get what we feel is the best that we can get for the membership. But we don't vote on the contract. You vote on the contract. So that's why we always try and have a committee with us of your peers, so that when the contract is finally recommended to the membership out there, you guys vote on it, and we hope that we do the right thing by you. In this particular case, the members at Matlin Key Food unanimously ratified their contract. So that always feels good when every single person voted it up, and that was a good thing. So good job by all the folks that worked on that contract. Village ShopRite on Bruckner Boulevard. We've had one negotiation session a few weeks ago. We have a committee there of folks, and if you remember, that location used to be a Pickwick Key Food, and that Pickwick closed, and then it lay dormant for a while, and Village ShopRite, that was their first foray into our jurisdiction. They're a very large ShopRite company in Jersey, in South Jersey, and it was basically a new animal for us, but when they came in, they adopted one of the, I guess it was another ShopRite contract or something similar to, and this was the first one we are fully negotiating with the committee. So far, so good there, and we're going to keep our fingers crossed that when we meet up with them again in the very near future, that we are going to reach a resolution, reach an agreement there, and get that one voted as well. Foragers Market is a company that our organizers successfully organized last year. A little over a year ago, 2 locations, one in Dumbo, one in Chelsea. The company had since closed the location in Dumbo. So it's been a lot of legal communication going back and forth with this company, and a lot of negotiation going back and forth. It's one thing to negotiate a Stop and Shop contract from 1 year to another cycle, because you have a base, right? Let's try and improve on what we have. But when you're negotiating an inaugural contract with a company that's never dealt with a union before, has never been unionized before, you're basically starting from ground zero, and then sometimes underground negative, because it's like you really have to like introduce yourself and introduce your team and your styles and what you're looking to do. They don't know us. They've never sat against or with us or against us at a bargaining table or any of issues like that. So happy to report that we're able to reach an agreement with Foragers, and it was also voted and ratified in by that new membership there. So very happy there at the Chelsea location. What we understand is that the Dumbo location is under renovation and should be opening in the near future. So we are also looking forward to that and representing that second store as well. IGA Amagansett, we continue to work on. Now, as a reminder, for those of you who are unfamiliar with IGA and Amagansett, out there beyond the Hamptons, and there's an IGA there that we had a long-term relationship with the owner. Sometimes a good relationship, sometimes a almost good relationship, but she was a unionized employer, and we'll go to bat for any unionized employer over a non-union employer any day of the week. She since sold that store to a new company that we were unfamiliar with from Connecticut, and it's been quite a job to have them recognize our contract, recognize our membership there, and we are in bargaining there for them for that first contract with the new owner. Same membership, new owner. So it's a different situation where the members have gone through this before, but the owner hasn't, and we are going through that process, and it's a little bit difficult for the members to understand, not for them to understand, but for them to realize, I guess, that things are different. It's a new owner now, and we're battling with the new owner. We're almost there though with that, and we'll be bringing it to that membership for a ratification vote as soon as we can there. King Cullen. King Cullen negotiations, for lack of a better word, have been put on hold or on ice for the time being. If you remember, we reported that King Cullen and King Cullen Pharmacy are scheduled to expire this December 31st. We wanted to go in there and negotiate a little bit earlier this year and get it done for a number of reasons. Number one, the labor relations guy, quite frankly, was retiring, right? And at the time, we didn't know what was going to happen there. For those of you from King Cullen or familiar with King Cullen, you know they're family oriented and they try and stay close to the vest. And we're just, we didn't know what the contingency plan was for that guy's replacement. So we said, well, before you go, why don't we negotiate a contract with you and then, extrapolate it out a few years so that we can at least get to know the new person, male or female, whoever it was going to be. We've since then met the new person, and he actually joined Bob Janovitz, who was retiring, who ultimately has retired, for a number of negotiation sessions. The last general membership meeting we had, or the most recent one we had our first session that morning for King Cullen. And I had reported to you that we were very, very early in the stages of that bargaining. However, we were very far apart. It was either the first or the second session, excuse me, I don't really remember, but we were very early on. Since then, we've kind of not been able to come up with an agreement. The understanding is, or our understanding is, look, your folks have worked through COVID, kept your business running, just like all of the other companies and all of the other members here, and why not recognize them right now? Why wait until December? Why not just do it right now and recognize them? This is what we've been able to negotiate in the rest of the industry. This is what we're looking for at King Cullen. For some reason, we weren't able to get there, and quite frankly, we decided to cool it off because we were spinning our wheels a little bit and was starting to become a little bit problematic. And for us to negotiate something early, that shouldn't be the case. I could see if we're coming up to a deadline and we're deadlocked and there was some kind of a misunderstanding or an issue, but that wasn't the case. And we said, you know what? Why don't we regroup? And why don't we meet with the membership and handle it a little bit more traditionally? So let me say this, PSA for our King Cullen members, okay? We will not accept anything less for King Cullen members than we were able to negotiate at Stop and Shop, at Key Food, at everywhere else within our jurisdiction. We're not going to do it. Understand? Whether we have to do it next week, or we have to go to December, or we have to go beyond expiration, or we have to push the limits, whatever we need to do. Okay? We're not going to accept anything less for our King Cullen membership than we've been able to negotiate. So this summer, you will see me in your stores, and this fall, you will see us in your stores, quite frankly, speaking to all of you, getting you ready to attend a proposal meeting in the fall, or probably late summer, putting together an even larger committee of folks to sit with the company so that they can truly understand what it is that the King Cullen membership deserves, what you're looking for, and what you expect to get for you. Okay? So get ready for that. They may not want to listen to us, but we're going to make sure that they listen to you guys. Okay? That's it on my report. I think I'll end it there.
I tell you, there are some very interesting stops to the presentations tonight. So far, so good. Ms. Waddy, you're on deck, I believe.
We'll see how it goes now. Great to see you guys tonight.
You desperately need this. Hold on.
I do. Well, they're not going to be able to hear me any better, but I'll do my best. Look, it's really nice to see everyone. It's been a long time. I think Gina said it, 2+ years that we've been waiting to have you guys back in the house. I think we took over in November of 2019. and then the pandemic happened. So I can tell you for myself that it's been really difficult not to be able to see the membership as much as we wanted to. I'll also say that I'm really proud to say that we've been open every single day and that nothing really changed other than the distance between us. There have been a lot of questions about in-person meetings, and thank you to Pulse and Tarpia for reminding me that the Labor Day Parade is live this year. So we'd like to invite you to come. September 10th, please be with us, represent your union. Joe said a lot of things that really struck a nerve with me, and we in a good way and in some difficult ways, because every time I think about the fact that you guys were open and you were going to work during the pandemic, it definitely energizes us when we're talking at the bargaining table to make sure that you are represented the right way. I want to make sure that you guys all understand how important it is that you do show up. Because when you don't show up, your companies know. When you're not present, your companies know. When you don't support your union, your companies know. So we have a committee member from King Cullen in the room, and she could tell you from sitting in that room that it wasn't easy and it was very difficult. And while a lot of companies made a lot of money, and we know that they did, I know we're not saying that they're still making the same amount of money. But right now, the world is watching, and unions are trending. If you're not paying attention, Amazon workers are organizing, Starbucks workers are organizing, workers all around the country are organizing. I've been talking about organizing my whole entire career at Local 1500, and there wasn't as much trending. And it was unfortunate that it took a pandemic for people to realize that the world doesn't actually function around professionals. The world doesn't actually function because actors are so fancy and we all want to watch them. The world functions because of people like everyone in this room. And if we don't stick together, we're not going to be able to move forward. So I'm proud to tell you that our organizing team is a force to be reckoned with. And not only did they win those elections last year, but they also recently won some new ones to join Local 1500. So I'm proud to welcome the workers at Petey's Pies into Local 1500, because on the 1st of June, great way to get started in the summer season, the Petey's Pies members voted unanimously to become part of this union. This is not the first, the second, it's the third vote that these folks get unanimously. It's a joint effort. It's the work and the diligence that they're putting forward, but it is also because the tide may be changing a little bit to favor us. We also got notice today that Square Roots, which is a very different type of format, urban farming, is joining Local 1500, and we are able to represent those workers, and we look forward to starting the bargaining season with them. I wanted to say a few things about the work that I'll say Joe does, and I sit alongside with him and obviously with the rest of the team. It's really difficult to sit in front of an employer that you don't know. It's almost like you're starting to organize them all over again. It's a different level of organizing. But what I have learned is that sometimes the owners don't actually know what's going on in their shops. From ownership to the membership, you have to realize that there's something that's happening in between, and it may not be something that the company, that the owner actually understands. Maybe the orders that are being passed down are being diluted at some point, and even the model that they're projecting to establish isn't really being followed. Whatever it is, I'm not trying to paint the owners as people that we should favor or we should look at with sympathy. What I am saying is that maybe there's a loss in translation there, and that the union actually becomes a force that's really important. Rob talks about this often, and he may cover this a little bit later. We also have a lot of elected officials that are looking to change how things are being done. They want to increase the minimum wage, and I know that if you talk to a lot of people that work in stores where they were not being paid right, or they were making very little money, we do understand that. There's also almost like a seemingly penalty for those that were in a union, because there's wage compression, and that's where we have a very different opinion of how things are being handled. This is not a shot at elected officials, it's more, as Joe said, and I'll steal that also, a PSA, that maybe they should think about what's going on. Maybe they should think about how it impacts. Obamacare was a great idea for some, but it hurt a lot of people. And it's, the message from me right now is that we should really look at everything that's going on and not just look at, what elected officials trying to improve things, because in the end, I'll tell you the biggest problem that I see with everything that happens anytime that you put some legislation forward, that there's something that's always missing, and that's enforcement. Because no matter how many elected officials raise the minimum wage, and no matter how many elected officials try and change the structure of how benefits are being run, and no matter what they try and do to better situations, to say that they improved the space in labor, the one thing that they'll never be able to do is truly understand the jobs that anyone is doing. And that's why we have committees. That's why we have members that participate in organizing. That's why we have members that participate in bargaining their own contracts, because they're the best speakers when it comes to speaking about their own working conditions. I think I said something about how management used to hold those positions. And while they are very familiar with what used to happen, they too have forgotten themselves, because once you're not doing that job anymore, you don't have that experience to talk about it. So it has to be the people that are going to work every day, that are doing these jobs, that have to take the place in that room and have to be on the side of the table. You'll hear it all the time, right? You should have a seat at the table. And as long as you have a union, you should. And I'm giving you guys a lot of this because I want you to know that your union is standing up for you every day. And I'm proud to say that with Rob's leadership that we've been able to make a lot of modifications. And some of those are being reflected in the organizing that we're also doing. I want to move on to something a little bit more tangible for you guys in the sense that we're trying to bring you another benefit. And I'll try and say this correctly. We've been saying this name the last couple of times. I think we'll say it differently. But Augeo is a company that came to us. And, I kind of like to capitalize anytime I'm in a membership of something or I'm doing something to ensure that maybe I'm getting the best bang for my buck, right? And that's what we try and bring back to you guys. And I think that's probably why Rob asked me to take a look at this program. This program is a pretty unique situation where we could partner with a company that would give you all, as members of the union, some discounts that would give you advantage in a local way. It's kind of a lot to explain right now, but we will be putting it out to you guys. We're finalizing the steps, and we're looking to ensure that if there's something out there that, we can partner with a business and you can, whether it's insurance. I know that Union Plus does something similar to that, and we're trying to bring it to a more local level so it brings the best bang for the buck for you guys. So I will be reporting on that. You will be receiving some information on that. And for all of you, I think most people are on social media, and you'll be able to get that as soon as possible. And we'll ask our media guys to put it out via email. And I think really the last thing that I wanted to cover with you is that our media team does an amazing job. They typically put together videos, they put together reports, they do a lot of things. Some of the work that they do, and they're always the guys behind the camera, or in your case right now, on the side of the camera. And I just wanted to congratulate them because they do receive awards every single year for the work that they do. Some is very creative and very funny. For those shop stewards in the room, I think you all get to see it and enjoy it. And some of it is documenting some of our members and highlighting the great work that they're doing. So Nick and Tariq received an award for the video Snitch, which they will be playing. You okay
Whenever
after
you
this? Okay, so after I'm done speaking, they'll play that video. And I also wanted to highlight the documentary of John Fanso, who was, and I say was because he's retired, so congratulations, John, if you're watching, from ShopRite in Thornwood. So congratulations, Nick and Tariq. If you don't mind, play the video.
Hold on.
Bobby. Texting, huh? Sir, I just saw Bobby on the phone at the register.
Thanks, Ray.
Bobby, please come to my office.
All right, Ray, get back to
You
work.
got it, sir.
Hurry. Smooth. Looks like no one noticed I'm late.
Billy, you've been really silly. That's the 4th time you're late this week. Wait till the manager hears about it. Sir, Billy just came in late.
Again?
Real late.
Bill, please come to my office.
Good job, Ray. Get back to work.
Sure thing, boss.
What is happening right here?
Ma'am, this is employees only right here. You're not supposed to be over here. It's receiving.
Yeah, the bananas. I just want the bananas.
Yo, let's help her out.
Billy and Bobby, 2 birds making up trouble. Manager's gonna be delighted when he finds out about this one. Yeah, so I had to let the manager know that these people are on the job.
He's on his phone.
Should we tell the manager?
Nah, let him be.
Billy over there coming in work late. I'm like, yeah,
Right.
you got his phone. Yep. Oh,
What are you doing, man? See me in my office right now, man.
no, it's not what it looked like.
See me in my office now.
All right, you're all set?
Good job, guys.
As always, boys, absolutely fantastic work. Thank you for all that you do. If you can't tell, they're getting better at being not only being funny, but finding a message and something that applies to you every day in your shops. And narcs, rats, snitches, it's all the same thing. It's not a good thing. You should be protecting one another. Let me start by saying thank you to those of you that are here in person. You know, it's kind of strange. You don't realize how much you miss even this type of a simple interaction. We've sat here and done, I think, 9 or 10 of these meetings without having a member present, other than some of our staff. It's not the same. You don't get the same feel. You don't see faces. You don't see the face when you joke bombs any more than you see the smile when you hit one. You don't see the compassion and the care that every one of you represent each day in your stores, and the fact that you choose to take time away from your families to be with us here in this just absolutely fantastic hall that your dues money built is something very near and dear to my heart. So thank you all for coming back. It's very much appreciated. We tried to do this in March, and Mother Nature threw a monsoon at us, so we're just going to count this as the first one, and we'll take that as a mulligan for those of you that are golfers. Listen, there's going to be a bunch of things. I can actually see some of the comments as they go, and I saw 4 or 5 Pickwick comments in a row, so I'll just say this to you. Look, the Pickwick Company is a very unique situation as far as collective bargaining goes. We have a lot of phenomenal long-term members in the Pickwick Company, and in 2016 and 2017, we got engaged in a very difficult set of collective bargaining. Negotiations got very personal, and our Pickwick membership got stuck in the middle between a couple of very difficult personalities. And one of those personalities was me, and the other was the owner of the company. And thankfully, after infusing Secretary-Treasurer Waddy into the process and some time passing, we were able to find a common resolve, and we negotiated a very successful contract for 4 years. Pickwick is now again overdue and has been overdue since April of last year. We're well aware of it. The one thing we're trying not to do is repeat history. You know, we're not a local that's afraid to fight. And I can assure you the ownership and the management in that company is also not afraid to fight. But when that happens, if conversations become arguments and demonstrative points become lines in the sand, our members get stuck in the middle. So for those of you that aren't at Pickwick, please understand that they've been waiting a hell of a lot longer than they probably should have to get a fair contract, and we've been able to negotiate as a group, I believe, over 20 contracts since the Pickwick contract expired. But to those of you that work at Pickwick, please understand that we're trying to avoid a similar situation as last time. I think it's very easy to say that we can just sit down with your company and present to you their last, best, and final offer from the last go-around. I just think you would question whether or not it was enough. We did, and that's the reason it didn't get brought to you. That's the reason that negotiations got put on hold, and that's the reason that we moved on to negotiate other contracts. It's not for any reason other than we're trying to bring you a contract that is of standard, that's up to par with the working conditions, and something that we're not afraid to recommend to you. At the end of the day, it is, to Joe's point, your vote, not ours. We are going to be looking to get back to the table with the Pickwick Company. But those of you that work there, you know the transitions, you know the things that have happened over the last couple of years. The company has downsized. They've sold a few locations. We're just trying to make sure that whatever path you're on with us, that it's the right path. And sometimes that takes a little bit longer than you're comfortable with or I'm happy with. But at the end of the day, we're not looking to pick a fight. We're not looking to have this degenerate into a pissing contest that potentially puts you on the street, takes money out of your pocket, or has a negative impact on your families. We would look at every set of bargaining the same way. We're not treating Pickwick any differently. We're just trying to step cautiously based on what's happened in recent past. I'm a very emotional person. That should come as a shock to almost nobody. I have a fast temper just as much as most people you probably know. This is not about me, and it's not about your owner. It's about you, it's about a contract, and it's about everyone that came before you and the things that they worked hard to secure, and those that will come after you that have a right to enjoy the same benefit package that you currently have. Our job is to try to enforce that and to try to protect it at all costs. So I apologize for the length of time that it's taken, but that's the explanation. If you're going to be mad at anybody, if you want to be upset with anybody, you can get me here at the office, because it's me. The buck stops here, it starts here. It's on no one else. So I hope you understand. I hope you extend us a little bit of latitude and patience, and I hope that you understand the reason there's been the delay that there has been. Obviously, if you have specific questions and you want to put them in the chat, our guys will write them down. If you want them back here tomorrow morning by 7:30, feel free to give me a call. Okay? And again, that's very much off my agenda, but I did see 5 or 6 Pickwick questions go off in a row as soon as Joe finished his bargaining update. Look, you know, there are days that being the president of this union is the best thing in the world, and there are days it's one of the most difficult. May 14th is probably one of the most difficult days that I've ever had as a president, and it's indirect. A racist with multiple weapons walked into a Tops Friendly Market in Buffalo, New York, because he was white and the majority of the community was black, and he opened fire. There have probably been 15 or more senseless acts of gun violence since May 14th. You know, every day I seem to think that the people that work around us or in our neighborhoods are trying to raise the bar. And I can remember a time in our country and in our industry when raising the bar meant something very, very different than killing more people or walking in with better body armor or better weapons. I saw Kathy Ford's question go across about active shooter training. Kathy, we did so at Local 1500. We did it for our staff long before any of the recent violence occurred, even the violent act in Stop and Shop in West Hempstead. No, that does not help our members out in the stores, but what we did do was make available the company that we used here at Local 1500 to every single one of your employers. We implored upon them, we actually pled with a few of them to utilize those services. Why? There is not one person at this union that's qualified to tell our members how to handle themselves in a first-person shooter. You want me to sit up here and blow smoke up your ass? I'm glad to do it. I'll give you my opinion. But my opinion is not going to keep you safe in an emergency situation. It's just not. It's not what I get paid to do. It's not what I've been trained to do. For us, we feel that the best circumstance would be for you all to have access to a professional. And here's the crazy thing. Even the professionals will tell you that there's only so much you can do in a situation like that. I don't have an answer. If you know anything about me, I absolutely can't stand not having an answer. But in today's world, you're not safe in school, you're not safe at work, you're not safe at the movies, and you're not safe at a street fair. It's become the definition of the unlucky lottery. And I think a lot of it just stems back to how divided we are as a country. You know, politely disagreeing just doesn't exist anymore. Family members don't speak, relationships have ended, lifelong friendships have just completely evaporated because of who we voted for, our opinion about gun rights, whether Hillary Clinton deleted her email or not, whether the election was stolen or whether it was fair. We've allowed so many things that don't actually control who we are or what we'll do tomorrow morning when we wake up, control who we talk to and how we talk to them. At the end of the day, we're all living, breathing human beings that bleed when we get cut, need oxygen to survive, and should give a shit more about each other than we do about who we voted for. This country is made up of so many different people, and for some reason now we want to focus more on the things that divide us as opposed to the ties that bind us. By the very nature of us belonging to a labor union, we should be more together than we are apart. Your employers, even the good ones, will try to find cracks and create separation, especially during bargaining, so that one group doesn't necessarily give enough of a shit about another to toe the line. And we always tell you the same thing. Allie said it, stay together. You can do more together than you'll ever get done apart. It isn't just about contract negotiations anymore. At the end of the day, if you don't care enough about each other, if you don't look out for one another as much as you would look out for your families, realistically, it could be you that gets hurt. Your stores are no different than an airport right now. If you see something, say something. If something smells wrong, it probably is. If something looks funny, you need to say something. And if this shit hits the fan, you need to try to take care of each other. You know, in West Hempstead, a grocery manager was killed getting in front of two women. Two other women survived because a gun misfired. In Buffalo, an off-duty police officer, a retired Buffalo police officer named Aaron Salter Jr. was killed. There's a percentage of our membership who believes that and I know there's at least one of my staffers that would say this, taking his last breath, the only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is to have a good guy with a gun. Aaron Salter Jr. was a good guy with a gun. He's a retired Buffalo police officer, fully trained on how to use his weapon. He did exactly what he was trained to do. He fired shots, he hit the assailant in the center mass, and the assailant had body armor. And Lewis was murdered a few minutes later. We could argue that Lewis's sacrifice saved other members and customers, and it probably did. But at the end of the day, Lewis was a trained, retired police officer. Putting weapons in the hands of untrained people in the front of your stores just potentially increases the number of people that are going to be killed. It's a very difficult decision. And yes, I fully recognize that it's not me behind the register or behind the deli counter. So I'm not here to preach. I'm not here to tell you that your opinion is wrong. I'm just telling you that I may not share the same one as you. And I think that if there was a little bit more common agreement or respect for someone who doesn't have 100% the same feeling that we do, we'll all be a little bit safer on the job. But accepting the fact, the things that we tell our kids every day, the world is not a safe place. Lock your door. Don't talk to strangers. These things are now affecting us as adults. Those aren't just lessons for children anymore. And you need to take better care of one another. Because if, God forbid, your place of work is the next place where something like this goes on, you're not going to give a shit who that person next to you voted for. You're not going to care where they were on Hillary's emails. And you're certainly not going to argue with them about gun rights. Learn to put your differences aside long enough to take care of one another. Feel however you want. This is a country with freedom that gives you that freedom. But you can't let it take you over. You can't let it make you burn inside. And you should never let that anger bring you to work to do something unspeakable. A member was the assailant in West Hempstead. And a racist was the assailant in Buffalo. I don't know how anybody prepares for both of those things at the same time. All I could say is we all love and respect each other. We have a better chance. I don't have an answer. There is no magic bullet. And yes, we'll continue to make active shooter training available for your employers. We had an employer refuse the service and then let one of their buildings be used by the Suffolk County Police to train. At least that was something. But it's ironic that they didn't ask the Suffolk County Police Department to train their own employees. Seemed a little short-sighted from our perspective. But I'd rather not throw stones. I guess the word of the day Joe used was a PSA. And the PSA is 10 people died and 3 were injured in Buffalo. And dozens of other people have been killed unnecessarily since. There's just got to be a better way. And I believe, like anything else, that could start in a church, that could start in a community center, or that could start at your union. I'd like it to start here. I don't want to get that call. I don't want to have to get the call that I made to Frank DeRiso, the president of Local 1. But I'm proud to say this. Not only have they raised almost $150,000 for those 74 workers who have been impacted by that violence, but they had representatives on the ground in 29 minutes. If you consider that it was a weekend and the union had people on the ground at a place where a mass murder had just occurred in 29 minutes, that's pretty moving and that's pretty powerful. So if not here, then where? If not you, then who? But it's got to start somewhere. So I appreciate you indulging me, and I hope it didn't come across preachy. We don't have the answer. So working together is possibly the only way that we can get to a solution. So thank you. I appreciate your time on that. Now I got to do regular business. So you heard Joe reference when he read the minutes earlier, and then Ally brought up Augio, which is one of the new services that we're trying to add value for the dollars that you guys put out of your checks every week to help run your union. And as great as that program is probably going to be, I'm guessing late in the year before you see it implemented. And there's a couple stages to it. There's an opportunity for you to be able to purchase large ticket items, almost like a Klarna, where you can do some delayed purchasing, interest-free, and things of that nature, as well as both local and national discount programs. And from some of the stuff that we saw in the preliminaries, it's pretty cool. But another thing that you heard from Joe earlier was, the ACA was a great idea, whether you call it Obamacare, ACA, and I'm sure there are certain political sects that call it something very different these days. But the one thing it did for us is it forced us to remove our part-time prescription drug card. And the main reason we had to do that was because if we provided a drug card, we had to provide every level of benefit in the 7 medical components, and the welfare fund just could not sustain it. So tonight, your executive board, many of whom are still in the room today, if you want to just throw a hand up in the air, gentlemen and ladies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It looks like there's 7 or 8 of them left, which is pretty impressive. Thank you. They were unfortunately subject to 2 hours of my droning on prior to this meeting beginning, so they're earning their keep tonight. But they voted unanimously tonight to approve the local to spend somewhere around $250,000 to $300,000 a year for the next 3 years, so that we can provide our part-time members with a year or more with a prescription discount card. No, it's not a prescription drug card in the traditional sense. It's going to come through ScriptSave, WellRx. It's an enhanced program. It's going to come with some other wellness factors as well. After 90 days, there'll be some 250 drugs that'll be copay free, and every other drug that could be purchased will have a reduction just because you have the card. No, it's not perfect. And no, it will not apply to anybody other than part-timers with 1 year or more. That's the group that was impacted. The full-timers, the SPTs and the ACAs, those of you out there, you have those coverages, you know who you are, you have a prescription drug card. Ironically, there could be a situation where this discount card actually provides a part-timer a better rate than the full-time plan provides. It's definitely going to be the exception to the rule, but if it happens and you see it, don't call me to scream. Our part-timers got dinged up pretty bad when ACA hit. And this is the first chance, it's the only real chance we have to take a step back in the right direction and give them a little bit more value for the dues that they already pay. We didn't just, thank you, I agree. We did not take this lightly. We actually had Maria Maloney. Those of you that are around long enough, you may remember Maria or her father John from the Shop Steward seminars. Their family's been the consultants to our welfare fund for longer than I'm alive. I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to age Maria. She'll punch me tomorrow. But we had her go through this, and that's something she did for free for us. She doesn't work for the union. She works for the welfare fund. She spent a lot of time and a lot of hours going through. She absolutely drove them crazy, and she was very happy with the plan. She was actually surprised, so much so that she asked my permission to potentially make it available to her other clients that she represents as a consultant. So is it going to be perfect? No. No, it's not going to be perfect. Is it a replacement for? Nope, it's not an apples to apples comparison. But it's the very best we can do. We are not going to ask your employers or your members to pay anything for it. The local is going to pay for it out of the Treasury. The E-Board was very, very committed to that. In a 3-year period of time, it could be about $1 million out of the Treasury to pay for that benefit. But if it works and it's functional, it's the best $1 million we could spend. At the end of the day, we're still 80% part-time. Maybe it's 78%, but it's close enough to call it 80. And any opportunity we get to do something for that group, we have to jump at and grab onto with both hands. So be aware of it. You'll start to see some launch communications, a lot of stuff. Allie will be the first to tell you. Our 2 award-winning snitch journalists there will be pounding it out on social media. Hopefully it gets a little bit more traction than some of the normal social media we get, because we want the word to spread. All of our reps, service reps, and executive board members will have a full understanding of the plan before it hits the street. And our goal is for those cards to start going out in the mail in August is the goal. I would also tell you, if you believe that this card, having this card, is going to cause you a problem with another benefit you have, we will give you the opportunity to opt out. It's not going to be a mandated thing. I'm not going to fight with a member that thinks it's going to have a negative impact on a state benefit or some other provided benefit. You don't want it, it's one less person in the rolls. It's $2.10 less per month that we would pay for that benefit. But we think it's a pretty great benefit for what the value for the dollars that we have to pay to get it. So we are very excited, and we can't wait to get it out in your hands. From a preparedness standpoint, look at all boys back there taking selfies. I love the E-Board. My God, they wear the same shirts. You know, they all called each other this morning, right? You know that. You guys on Facebook Live can't see the gaggle of VPs in gray shirts in the back. We've tried to do some things to be more prepared just in case. Our strike fund was $3 million, had been $3 million back to Frank Meehan being the president. And I only know that because I remember hearing that at a meeting as a young man saying, holy shit, there's $3 million in the strike fund. That is a ton of money. $3 million to any one of us is a ton of money. $3 million to a strike fund is chicken feed. That would disappear faster than you can possibly imagine, especially if the company is 400 or 500 people deep. So few months back, actually probably more than that, probably about a year and a half ago, prior to Stop and Shop bargaining, the union reallocated another $1 million at the E-Board's approval. The strike fund went from $3 million to $4 million. Last meeting in April, we again reallocated another $1 million. What's the difference between allocated and unallocated? It can't be used for anything else. So if the union was going to get involved in another project, if the union was going to make an investment, we can't do it with strike fund money. So there's now $5 million in your strike fund. No, still not enough money. Not by any stretch of the imagination. I probably wouldn't be comfortable with less than 10. I'd like to take some time to get there. I'm certainly not going to bankrupt the union in an effort to get there. But we're 66% stronger in our strike fund than we were 2 years ago. And I think that's something that we all owe your executive board a round of applause for their foresight and their ability. That being said, I hope to God we never have to use it, because nobody wins in a strike. So let's talk about a couple of interesting things that are going on in the world. So Starbucks, some 300 elections filed. I believe over 90 locations have voted in favor of the union. Charges in multiple states, active campaigns in multiple states, NLRB cases in multiple states. So Workers United is a division of the SEIU, just so that we're all clear, right? It's not a group of baristas at Starbucks that started a union and spread their message across the country overnight. It's a gigantic established international union that has a sector called Workers United. Workers United started the Starbucks campaign. It started in Buffalo because they currently represented 3 coffee shops in the area. So it was a likely transference from those independent shops into Starbucks. They did a phenomenal job. They won the first couple of elections, and it's just gone like a shot out of a cannon since. They filed some safety complaints in the first location, led to tons of board charges. Starbucks is closing the site. Why are they closing the site? Because they can't fix the safety problem. If there's one person in the room that believes that that's truth, you should leave now. But what it does do is it says fuck you to the first group of workers who stood up to Starbucks and voted in favor of a union. And it's only being done for one reason, to stamp out the movement as it spreads across the country. Whether it's Starbucks, whether it's Google, whether it's Apple. You notice the only company that came out and said they're in favor of it is Microsoft. Our employees can all organize if they want to. Why? Because they're buying Activision Blizzard, which is one of the biggest game makers in the country, and there's an organizing drive in that company right now, and they don't want anything to interrupt their acquisition. Otherwise, they'd be just as anti-union as everybody else. Today, ironically, my girlfriend's older daughter texted me today to show me that the first Trader Joe's store in Hadley, Massachusetts filed for an election. Some of the biggest companies in America right now that you could never move an election, workers are standing up. I want to call it the age of Aquarius, we'll call it the age of organizing, I don't know. But it's happening all over the place, and it's not only happening for us. It's a really fantastic time. Young people in this country are standing up in a way that they probably haven't done since the 70s. And it's ironic. There was a lot of weed then. There's a lot of weed now. I don't know. Maybe that's the comparison. Not really for me to judge. But I think it's a pretty incredible thing to be a part of. Just remember one thing. Established labor unions have goods and bads. There's great examples and horrible examples, no matter what conversation you want to have. But a group of workers that stand up together to win an election for the right to be represented in their location, that's the easy part. I say that to you tongue-in-cheek because as a union leader, we've had more losses than wins over the years in this business. But the hard part is negotiating with the $1,200 an hour attorney that the company files when they say they have no money and just completely beats you into submission and ties you up in court for the first 365 days so that then they can have your election decertified. And most workers are not equipped the day after they win the election to get down to business and to fight back that type of press. But it's amazing, whether we're talking about the 2 stores that we organized at Foragers or whether we're talking about Starbucks, they all have money to spend $1,200 an hour on a lawyer. But they don't have money to give their employees retirement or a medical benefit. A couple of years back, I talked about need and want, right? They don't want you to have a union. They need to take all the money. But at the end of the day, they could probably spend half and give their employees a better way of life. But they don't need to do it unless they get forced to do it. We have to want them to do it more than they need not to do it. That's all there is to it. And I don't know if that makes sense. I might have just confused myself. Too many words. Point blank, don't ever buy into the bullshit that you're asking for too much. Don't ever buy into the bullshit that they can't afford to give you a little more, because they'll drop $500,000 on a lawyer before they give you 10 cents. Don't ever forget that. And whether it's Starbucks or Amazon or Walmart or Target, where there's a group of workers finally organizing themselves in Target, those companies print their own money. If they could, they'd put their CEO's face on the dollar bill. How are they going to turn around to a group of workers and say they can't afford it? It's bullshit. So it's a good time. You're not alone. You're actually growing towards a majority again, and we need to do everything we can to facilitate it. So if you have kids, brothers, sisters, uncles, aunts, you work a second job, it's non-union, believe it or not, now's your better chance than ever to try to level the playing field a little bit. We're in urban farming. We're in food production. We're in the supermarket business. We're growing new branches. People are coming knocking on our door every day because it all boils down to one thing: service. Right? It doesn't matter whether we're primarily a supermarket local or primarily a farm worker local. If a member calls and we take care of their issue, that's what it's worth. That's what it's about. The United Steelworkers are representing casino workers. United Auto Workers are representing casino workers. What's the common tie? There's none. It's all about their belief in the organization and their desire to stand up together. So there are no limitations to something that we would look at unless we're already jurisdictionally blocked from it, and that would be within our own international. And if that happened, we'll put you in touch with the person that has the right to organize in that sector. Okay? Keep us in mind. Our organizers are busy. I'd like to make them a little busier. I'd like to be forced to hire a couple more organizers. It would be good for all of us in the long run. So, it's interesting, the things that are going on. 6 Amazon Fresh stores coming in our jurisdiction. 3 former Fairways, 2 former Wallbaums, and a strip mall in Staten Island that was converted. Amazon could make those 6 stores 26 in very short order. Just walk-out technology, or with dash carts, so either you scan your palm as you walk in and your credit card's linked, everything you pick up is rung up, everything you put down is taken off. It's pretty slick. People have tried to beat it all over the country. It has like a 99-point-something% success ratio. I mean, no disrespect, but they feel it has more of a success ratio than a live cashier would anyway. Dash carts, the same thing. Anything that passes over the threshold of the cart automatically rung up, comes out, it's automatically deducted. If you think about our stores, even though they're adding self-scanners, Teresa, our conversation earlier, this is a whole different world. It's a whole different world. Can't just let it happen. We're going to be involved. We're going to be looking for people to work there. They're not screening. They can't find help any more than your employers can find help. So the days of assuming that they're going to do forensic internet studies on every person who puts in a freaking application, nope. Remember, they can build them, they can open them, but they can't build people. So if they need 35 or 40 people to run those stores each and every day, they're going to take what comes through the door. And considering some of your employers, the whole test is they put up a mirror, and if there's a fog, you're hired. What do you think Amazon's going to be down to? Be aware of it. Wegmans coming to Lake Grove. Wegmans coming to Astor Place in New York City. That's going to be a massive disruptor. Wegmans is not a loser company. Wegmans is not a company that's going to miss the mark. They're going to be very successful no matter where they go. They've been at it for 100 years. It's a significant threat to our business. They don't want to organize. We got to make sure that they're paying above and beyond the scales that we're paying. They can't be allowed to come in and lower the standards. Again, a company that has enough money to put its CEO on the dollar bill, they shouldn't be trying to lower the standards in the industry. They should be doing things to raise it. It's our job and our elected officials' job to make sure that we try to do the same thing. So that's my spiel on where we're at as a union, what we're trying to do and the things that we're looking at and working on. None of those things are possible without your help. Over 16,000 members of this union can move a lot more mountains than 35 representatives and 15 people who work in the office. It's just simple math. So I appreciate all your support, but we're going to need some help, and anything you can do would be greatly appreciated. I know there'll be some questions that come up, and I'll pontificate into this mic a little bit more, but I wanted just to say thank you. I think it's important that you know how much we all love and appreciate the opportunity to serve as your leadership team here. It's not a responsibility any of us take lightly, and I'm going to continue to do everything I can every day to make you not sorry for that decision. So thank you for the opportunity. Bella? Everybody met Bella Lugosi over here?
Yes. For you who don't know me, my name is Paul Santopia, and I want to remind you that this July, Thursday, July 28th, 1:45 to 7:45, we're back to having our blood drive. We need people to save lives. Every pint we get saves 3 lives. So on our social media and on our websites, you could sign up for this blood drive. And if you can't do it yourself and you know someone, bring someone along with you, because the more blood we get, the more lives we'll save. And I appreciate your support. Thank you.
And Tony Spielman will be in the house that day. He has promised us already. So, all right. You want to do the raffles, questions? What do you want to do?
I guess we do questions while we collect raffle tickets and such.
All right, guys, get the cards, and Juan and
You guys go with
Z.
the questions?
I just got a text.
Okay, thank you. I answered one of them.
Okay, this is easy. All right, Kathy Ford asking for a friend. That's cute. What are the rules as far as breaks go when working 6 hours only? Do I get a meal period and a 15 or just a 15? If it's not scheduled as 5.5 with a half-hour lunch, you're not required by state law to take a half-hour lunch until 6 hours and 1 minute. 15-minute break is not only a state law, it's in the contract as well. You get a 15 for every 4 hours, no matter what. Multiple members from Stop and Shop. Can travel pay parameters be adjusted due to gas prices? The contract is set. It would have to be reopened. If we reopen the collective bargaining agreement, there's some limitations in terms of what we can and can't do, but it would also give the company an opportunity to potentially make a change to another article of the contract. Please keep in mind, when we negotiate a 4.5-year contract, we're not expecting a war to break out in Ukraine. We're certainly not expecting the level of inflation we're at now. And as much as I understand, I mean, I go and I swipe a gas card, no questions asked. $5 a gallon is a significant increase from what it was to even 5 months ago. We fully understand that. Is there a way for us to force the company into making an adjustment? No, there isn't. But not saying we can't try to do something. I just err on the side of caution. I don't want to open the contract and create an opportunity for the company to try to grab at something else in exchange for travel pay. That's the answer to the question. Aileen, Shop Steward Seminar, probably in October again. It will be virtual again this year. We'll see about getting back to an in-person seminar next year. Boys, anything else? Okay, I did get to some of your questions that I saw pop across. Our guys are saying that there are no other questions. It is 8:40. Here's what I can tell you. Anything that pops up on the screen between 8:40 and the time I get home, you'll get an answer first thing tomorrow morning. I will read the comments and watch the video back just to make sure. If they miss something, we'll make sure that we get out to you tomorrow. If your question didn't get answered, please include either a cell phone number or an email address for one of us to get back to you tomorrow. So stay tuned now for raffle prizes, and thanks for everything. Good luck. Oh, and hello, Dominic. I saw you earlier, brother.
Dom.
Dom.
First, how do you want this from? First.
5 in person. In person only for the first 5, and then mix them up.
These are in person.
In person only? In person. First 5. And then,
So they'll take these out.
yeah, just dump them on the table.
Those are only in person?
That's what I'm understanding, yeah? Looks like.
Who had those are the in-person cards?
He's in person, that's. Let's mix it up. Let's mix it up. Set 5, right? 5 in persons and then mix it all up.
Can you pass that,
This?
please?
Okay. Slide over here. Pete, come on up.
Pete, you got some toes,
They don't-
brother.
Watch you, make sure you're not.
These won't need them. Don't look.
I'm not.
Gail Hengel. Hey, Gail. Hey, Gail, you won. Let's go.
Come on.
Congratulations. Can you pick the next winner, please? And hello, long time no see.
Blood drive, blood drive.
Yes, I hear you. Thank you.
Cynthia Williams, still here?
Oh, and the dance.
Come
Yes, yes,
on.
yes.
Congratulations, Cindy.
Thank you.
Please
Oh, I
pick.
gotta pick.
Yeah, don't look.
I'm not looking. Okay.
Thanks.
Blood?
Anne Marie Griffin?
Oh, you saw that?
Yeah. Yeah, Anne Marie, shake it up. Shake it up. I know. I know.
Come back and right away. Look at this, look at this. I'm in the money.
Oh, okay. Brian Lewis. Yeah, we can clap for Brian. We can clap for Brian. One more. Yeah, don't look, Brian. Okay. The no look pass.
There you go.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Oh, here we go. We need an interpretation.
John Gavaris. Gavaris. Is that
John Gavaris. Oh shit, you won. Is that your middle name?
Here you go.
right? Hey, while you're here, hold on.
All right, hang on 1 second. I'm just gonna pop into Facebook Lives.
Mix these up together. Okay, those are in-person folks. John, are you ready to rock and roll? Sir. Thanks, John. Latoya Spencer, ShopRite 289. Congratulations, Latoya. Yeah.
Wait, we can have numbers.
What's the number?
289. Right.
It's right in front of you. Here's 2.
2. Okay.
Here.
Keith Brander, King Cullen 26.
Oh, I love that. I love when Jeffrey gotta go eat. All the way out there, Kathy Brawley.
And again, Patty Benson, King Cullen 26. While you're out there.
2 fizz. All right, Dave, come on, pick 2.
Just let me know how many more we have.
You gotta go twice. Odd and even days.
Okay.
Here you go.
I didn't get.
You bagged them? Okay, 1. 2. Go ahead.
Okay. Lorraine Ferrito Chalupski. Lorraine Chalupski. King Cullen 33.
Jeffrey's on a rush. Oh, 33 is you, my bad.
Carolina Brillante. King Cullen 40. Carolina. Long time no see.
Mixing them up. Don't get yelling. Don't start yelling. 2. 1. I was trying to reach
John Vikowski. Steve didn't say goodbye to you yesterday, John. He's going to say goodbye when he comes to give you your card. Carlene Black, 289, ShopRite. Carlene?
What do you got left?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Let's see. We got 3 winners here. Do
One.
we have?
We have
Okay. So,
3.
Sure. That don't matter.
okay, these 3 go with those 3.
Gina.
We have 3.
3.
I think so.
1, 2, 3 winners here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not looking, I promise.
Taking care of
She picked
it.
about 40. All right, we got 3.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Edgar Lacey, ShopRite 289, big winner tonight. Teresa Perino pulled it out of the. Let's go, Teresa. ShopRite. And Annie Martinez, Pickwick 16. Good.
Want to
Congratulations.
give Teresa a card?
There you go, Teresa. Good luck. I mean, congratulations.
Got 2.
Good luck spending.
You got Perino now?
So before I take a motion to adjourn, there's only 3 words left. Let's go Rages. Take a motion to adjourn.
Okay, we need a motion and a second to adjourn. Alicia Boak, Teresa Perino.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much,
Thank you,
everybody. Have a
folks.
good day.